Fenland Crusader here, and welcome to Magneto Wars. Now, the one petrol and paraffin tractor I have that I could always depend on to start is my orange 38, and it seems like the last few years it's been totally the opposite. It's just got worse and worse, and although the Magneto seems to have a good spark, although it be orange and not blue, you can get it going, and then you know, it'll die after once it gets warmed up, after you've done a few laps of the field, as it were. So yeah, I mean, it could be coil breaking down, but the fact that it's got orange spark indicates two things to me, and that is, one would be the condenser's probably faulty, which I've changed from out of another Magneto that does run okay, so you could probably sort of eliminate that. And the other thing is the magnetism of the rotor, not up to it, not strong enough to give it the volt it needs. But anyway, yeah, you can have one done, but there ain't much change out of £1,000 these days. So I've always thought that I should put one on coil ignition and then just use the Magneto as a distributor, and that's what I'm going to do on this one, just to eliminate the fact that it's Magneto and probably not carburetor or whatever, although I've been in there and cleaned it out, done the plugs and so on. So it's just always an ongoing thing with one of these, and any other petrol and paraffin. And you'll get one that'll go for years, and all of a sudden it starts messing and playing about, and you wonder why, and you think it's this, you think it's that, and it always nearly ends up being Magneto. But there's as much money in the Magneto as there is in the bloody tractor. So that's where we're at. We're going to do one to coil ignition, so I could just pop it on any tractor I've got with this type of mag on, and that would almost eliminate immediately whether it's the mag or not, because obviously the coil ignition will give you, good bright spark, because it is what it is. Like, you got 12 volts powering it up all the time. So we'll go in the workshop, and I've already started one of these, and we'll have a look. Also, as you can see, we shan't be doing any tates. I mean, this is just in my yard. I mean, bloody water everywhere. And it's the same down the Tatey rows. I'll probably go out there and take a picture in a few minutes. So because it's a wet day, been a bloody wet week and more, I thought, well, we'll come in the shed and do this, because it's too wet to do tates, field work, or even shed work, and or even my footings that I've got to do, or cutting edges, all too wet. So we're going to put this on coil ignition. So I already did one, this one here, and I had an awful job. I took this one to bits, took that out, took the coil out, put it all back together, and now I'm having a hell of a job to mesh the Bakelite wheel in there to the one on the rotor. And these are the Bakelite wheels, and that's that. To get that in and out, it's almost a breaking point. So I decided to abandon that one, because bloody Magneto bodies everywhere. I decided to abandon that one, and I've gone for this one. This one was all complete, so I've kept all the parts together that belong to this mag. I've cleaned it up. Well, I haven't took that out this time. I've just left the coil in, but what I've done, I've cut the wire off, so it can't generate anything at all. So what we do is drill a hole inside, and then we use if it'll focus in, there you go, these little top hat insulating washers you can find in a set of points. So what we're going to do with these is we'll pop one in there, in that hole. It's not going to stop on its own just for a minute, but it gets in there. And then there'll be another one on the inside, which is it was like a job getting my bloody hands in there. So that's that one in there. We'll try this other one on the outside, see if it fits a bit better. There you go. So that's got your insulator in. And I've used the original coil Magneto wire. And just took the terminal off the end. So I'll pop that in there now. And I need 2 hands, so I'll bring you back. Okay, so that's got my little brass bolt in there. And then my coil wire will fit on there with another nut. And we'll put a little rubber insulator on it. And I'll feed that around when my plug leads up into the plug lead tube that runs up along top of the engine. So it ends up on the dashboard with a coil. And then that's the wire on the other side there, insulated, so it's all done that. So this is the end. Plate that houses the points. Let's look at it. This is the end that houses the points and the bearing rotor, and that will slide on there. Again, you see the rubber's just an insulator, and then that will bolt on there. So in order to do all that, we've got to put the rotor in, and the rotor's that bit there, all cleaned up, ready to go. And put the Bakelite wheel in, and the one I'm using is this one, all cleaned up, all got good teeth on it. It's still sitting there, but of course we've got to time that up. And also, in order to time all that up, I've got to put the points all back in there. So I'm going to take the points out of this one. And the only reason why I'm not going to put this one back on is because of the bearing and the shims would be slightly different to the one that's on, because that's the condenser on this one. Look, we'll still be using the condenser, and because this one is bearing and everything all mates up, and I've got a little brass shim which fits on this edge all the way around there. So again, just a little bit to it, but that's all as was. So all cleaned up, put back together, and she should rotate okay. So I need to change the points over, take the points out of there, which is the 2 main big screws, look, and then that whole body and the bits will come out and go in this one. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll bring you back. So I just took the points and condenser out, look, just put in 2 studs out, seeing the whole lot just lifts out, and then I can just pop it into that one. But before I do that, I will just give it a wash to get rid of all the rubbish while it's easy to get at. So there you are, points are all cleaned up and they're in there. I've just got to put a little nut on the condenser because I haven't done that yet, but there's another wire to go on there yet, so I mean I can put the wire on the condenser or I can put it directly onto the points, either or. But anyway, so that's ready to all mount up now, and I'll put the rotor in, put this on, and time the Bakelite up. So I'll catch you in a minute. Okay, so I've set the mag. Hey, woofer dogs, what are you doing? Right, so I'll just put that on the rotor. If you see the points, look, they're just opening. So I'll just set out just so they're just starting to open, which is just there. And the rotor arm is like pointing about 10-2. And that's the distributor cap. And this one is number 1 on mine. And it's got number 2 on there. How strange that is. Or whatever, it doesn't matter whether it's 1, 2, 3 or 4, the fact of the matter is the cam and the rotor arm have to be in the same place, like the points opening and the rotor arm has to be in the same place. It's a matter of which one I put the plug lead on is what determines which one I'm going to be on. But anyway, so that is that, and when you look on the inside you can see the point there, look. So if you sort of get that in mind and you spin round, it's sort of pretty much on that number 4 as that sits on there. So when you bring that round there, look, you can see it just disappearing behind that number 2 bit, not number 4, number 2. So you can see what I'm saying. So it's about in the right place. I did a modification to this as well, because now you see that's your live, like the coil lead that goes on top of your distributor cap on a car. That's what that is. So you've got to get a lead to that. Well, I mean, this one feeds off a brass tab with the coil in the back of there. So I suppose there is a way of doing that, but I decided to do mine on a distributor cap, same as like a car would be. And of course there happens to be a screw in the bottom of these, which I took out, and then I put my brass bolt in there, and on the other side I put a brass tab. And when this goes on, that brass tab, it's got a bit of springiness in it, will sit on there. So you can see the brass tab in the back, look, and when you close that round, that'll sit on the end of that. And my core lead, obviously, has got to fasten to that light, and then the other end will go into the coil. So, all being well, that should go. And I've got to put a little tab on this wire to put on the condenser. I don't think it quite reach over there, so we'll put it on there. And we'll see what that does. I'll get a call on the battery in a few minutes, and then I'll bring you back. Okay then, so we're doing a bit of wiring up. So the mag's together, just as we said, right, you know, nothing's changed there, just put the bits together. And what I've done, I'll just trap the coil in the vise so it earths to the vise should it need it. And this lead is coming up from my battery, which is down there. Look. So I've gone to the positive side of the coil, and then earth to the mag, and the coil just trapped it behind, sprung that out, trapped it behind there. So my coil lead is there, coming out of there, as you would expect the coil lead to come out of, all the way around there, and onto my little gadget that I made in there. Look. The other side of the coil comes out of there, and it's more than one wire here, but it's because I just not made anything specific, just picked the wire that suited the job. So he comes out from around there, look, around here to there, look, and goes on the side. And that feeds the points from inside. So I've only got the one plug on, so that means you've got to go 4 clicks in the mag to get the one in on the plug. Plug's on the end of the vise, look. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3. This one should be sparked. Okay then, so every third turn, every third turn there should be a spark. So if I just get you in there, so I'll go 1, 2, 3 this time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we've got a bit of an arcing out on the vise. Okay, so we've got a bit of arcing there. I had one or two where the plug was sort of arcing on the vise, and so I sort of cleaned that up to alleviate that. And then the spark went missing on odd times on the others. And although I did put an insulation there, look, which is an old grinding screen, which is quite tough old stuff, that was still jumping from the end of that. I took the nut off now, like, but from the end of that brass pole, it was still jumping from there across to there. I mean, that's a bloody good ½ inch. So I mean, that's a hell of a fucking spark to to jump that far. When you consider we've only got a small gap, on the end of the plug. But so what I have got, I've got one of these like rubber caps. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop one of them over there to cover it up, so boys, to stop it from jumping. Short of that light, I just had to make a wider one of these. But I think we'll get a rubber cover on it, that'll hold it. So another thing I've done is, you probably noticed the coil has been changed. And I knew I got ballast resisted coils, and I couldn't remember which was which. It's been a few years since I've been playing with them. And so I sort of identified them on the internet, and only to find that the 2 coils I got here, which was the intermotor ones, they're ballast resisted. So they tend to melt the bushes and insulators on points. Too powerful. And this is a straight 12 volt coil. It's a Bosch straight 12 volt coil. So we're in order with that now. So basically the system works, it's going to be okay, and I've just got to put this sort of insulator on. And the other thing is, I'll on the side here where we've got the little thing, I'll put one of them on there as well, so it covers up and the wire comes through that bit there, just to finish the job off. And then that's sort of all ready to go fit on the tractor, and the proof will be in the cranking. Hopefully it'll go. Certainly got a better spark than on the mag that's on the tractor. So that pretty much wraps it up for this one. And because the reason I've sort of done this is because I need a tractor for my muck spreading job. My green wide wing has got a good mag, she goes alright, and I've got the green standard Ford I've just done with the diesels, obviously it's going to go alright, and now my orange one, which will hopefully when you get this mag on, have to make it go okay. Then I've got 3 tractors for the 3 spreaders for my muck spreading video, and plus the field needs the muck anyway, so it's it all works in together. And the one other thing that has come to light when I was at the Casterton show, lots of people said, "Oh yeah," they stopped me and had a word with me and said, "Yeah, we watch your videos and that." And I just happened to ask, like, do you subscribe? And I was amazed at how many people watch the videos but don't subscribe. And they was all not sure, or most of them were not sure, just what subscribe really is. And the fact is, the subscribe doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take any of your data or anything like that. But what that does do, that helps me to put the videos together and sort the job out. And because the other thing it does for you is it gives you a notification to tell you the next time I put one on, whether you want to watch it or not. But it will tell you, it pop up on your screen, say that Fenland Crusaders just made another film, like, and blah blah blah. So it would be nice if everybody could just press the button and subscribe if you're watching the videos, because like I say, it's no detriment to you whatsoever. You'll benefit by it, by the fact that you'll get notifications to say that I'm about, and I'll just put a fresh one on. That way you don't get to miss anything. But anyway, I'll thank you all for that, and I'll leave that one with you. So that's about it for this one, and we'll catch you on the next.